No matter where you are. Yes, worms like men. Why are you getting him a dog and balls? No, I don't care about the detail on the cock. I just care about why you're making it. What is your motivation for making this penis? Gotta capitalize. Why is he so painfully thick? Why is your shield so high up, Isaac? Sombra kind of whacks me off, and she's probably gonna thirsty boy me. Oh, yep. Then she went after you. That's unfortunate. Can you not see the massive hog? Like, ready, Godiva! What's stopping me?
In the art tutorials.
Back here?
Have a play around with stretching and scaling and see what you can create. Try making the puppet more cartoony or turn it into a monster. Test out your puppet in play mode.
Unfortunately, I'm not a very good
motion.
not a very good sniper in general. So, I'm not gonna be very useful. I'm not, like, looking to be very good right now.
When you're done, return to edit mode. Rewind time with L3 to get your puppet back in position. In the next step, I'll show you how to color and stylize your puppet.
I'm getting canked by everybody who can get behind. I don't like it. I'm not even healing all that well. I don't know why they're targeting me. That was an excellent biotic grenade.
Another
I'm
way of
pro Ana
customizing your
plays.
puppet's appearance is by changing its color.
No, it was trash. It didn't hit
You
either
can
of
do
us.
this by tinting it in coat mode. If you've played my tutorial on coat, style and effects, you'll already know how to do this. In the assembly menu, go to the modes menu.
I should be getting that far, but you know, the whole being bad thing.
In the coat mode menu, open the colors menu and select a color for your puppet.
She's so not poggers.
Now hover over your puppet and hold R2 to tint it with your selected colour. The longer you hold R2, the stronger the tint will become.
I have my nano if you're ever gonna pop your ult.
If you want your puppet to be multicoloured, simply scope into the puppet. Select a different colour from the Colours menu. Hover your imp over a part of the puppet you want to tint. How about the head? Now, when you press and hold R2, just that part of the puppet will be tinted. You can also use the tools in Style Mode and Effects Mode. Try using Style Mode to change the texture of your puppet. If you don't know how to use Style Mode, there's an art tutorial which can help you. In the next step, we'll dive into the dressing up box.
To the place. Yeah.
One of
Probably.
the simplest ways to customize a puppet is by adding accessories.
Oh my god, that was so good.
But to make sure they move with the puppet, we need to group them with a body part. Before we do that, it's important to fully understand the concept of scoping in and out of groups and objects. If you've played part 4 of the Start Dreaming tutorials, then you'll already know a thing or two about using groups. Objects in dreams are often combined into groups, which can be treated like a single object in assembly mode. Groups themselves can also be grouped. This means that you can have groups nested inside other groups. Let's try scoping in and out of something else before we invade the puppet's personal space. Over there on the floor is a hat box. Make sure you're in edit mode. Now try taking the lid off the hat box. The whole box will move because the lid, the box, and its contents have been grouped. Undo the move with the left directional button to put it back in its place. Now scope into the group. Hover over the hat box, press and hold L1 and press X.
I hope so.
Everything but the box should go grey and blurry. If not,
Oh my god,
make sure your visual feedback preference is set to all. This shows that you've scoped into the group and can edit its contents. Now, you should be able to take the lid off the hat box. Inside is another hat box. Try taking the lid off this one. I think you can guess what will happen.
No, I should be killing the fire, and I know that, but,
its lid and contents.
Remove
the smaller box and place it next to the large one.
I should be trying to do that too,
Now scope into this group by holding L1 and pressing X over the smaller hat box. The original hat box will go grey and blurry, as we've scoped into a subgroup. Now you should be able to open the smaller hat box. What's inside? A lovely hat.
It is in the car or something. On the bench.
Take it out and place it next to the smaller box. As we've scoped into a subgroup. Now you should be able to open the smaller hat box.
You're such a bitch, man.
What's inside? A lovely hat. Take it out and place it next to the smaller box.
You just killed a 4. That's pretty poggers.
Proceed to the next step. Now that we've taken the hat out of the box, let's try putting it on our puppet. First, we need to scope out of this group. To do that, simply hold L1 and press circle. That takes us back into the large hat box group. Now scope out again into the main scene by holding L1 and pressing circle. Pick up the hat. Ah, We seem to have a bit of a problem here. The
Yeah.
hat is still inside the nested groups, even though it's outside the hat box. When you scope in and out, only you and your imp are moving in and out of objects or groups. Unless you're carrying something with you. Scope back into the large hatbox group, and then into the smaller hatbox group to get the hat. Now grab and hold the hat with R2, and scope out of both groups with L1 and circle while holding the hat. If you've done it correctly, you should be back in the main scene. With a hat you can now move independently of the boxes. That's because scoping in and out of a group whilst holding an object adds or removes it from that group. Hurrah! Now we can put it on the puppet. Grab the hat, hover over the puppet, then hold L1 and press X to scope into the puppet with the hat. Now scope into the puppet's head while still holding the hat. This is a shortcut for grouping two objects if you're already grabbing one of them. Simply grab an object and scope into another object to group them automatically without having to select them. The same way that scoping into a group while holding an object adds it to the group. Now that it's in a group with the head, place the hat where you want it. Remember to check it from different angles using the grab cam to make sure it's in position. Press R2 softly to nudge if you need to make fine adjustments to the position of the hat. Before you move on, you should try out the puppet to see it walk around with its new accessory. Switch to play mode, possess it with R2, and take it for a wander. Nice.
They're both just showing in the
When
door
you're ready
there.
to continue, go back to edit mode.
They're pushing left
Going
really
to
hard.
play mode and back to edit mode will scope you out of any groups. Remember to rewind time with L3 to get your puppet back in position. Then go to the next step. Okay, let's add some more accessories before our puppet's stage
Oh, the diva's back
debut.
in Mac. That's unfortunate.
Open the assembly menu and select Search, the button with the magnifying
Oh,
glass,
no.
to search for an element.
No,
Usually, you'd be in the Dreamiverse here, but for this tutorial, I've kept things simple and curated a collection of elements for you to use. Take a look at some of the accessories in the collection. Select one you like with X.
She could do that, but...
You'll now have your chosen accessory on your imp. Don't stamp it down yet, though. First, we need to scope into the puppet. You can do this even when you have an element from the Dreamiverse on your imp. Scope in with L1 and X, and then scope into the body part that you want to attach it to. If that body part is already in its own group, you'll enter that group. But if the body part is just a sculpture, then you'll create a new group when you stamp the object down.
This Mercy's kind of ass. I don't even know if she knows how to do the
Once the
healing.
accessory is in the group, you can
Like,
adjust the
there's a diva
accessory while
rushing
you're
you.
there. Try adding some more accessories from the collection.
It's the first, man.
Then it's important to test the puppet in play mode to check that the accessory is attached correctly. Here's another very important tip. If you ever want to remove an accessory, whatever you do, don't
It's a Riddler and a
ungroup the
diva
body
pushing,
part.
right? Which is
If you do that,
not
you'll
super
delete that
poggers,
group's
but you know.
connection to the puppet. And without the connector, your puppet's limbs will start falling off when you go into play mode. And nobody wants that. Instead, scope into the group containing the body part and the
Yeah,
accessory.
because it
Then
doesn't
either
benefit the.
delete the
It,
accessory or grab it and scope
I
out.
don't say it doesn't benefit
If
the
there's
team at
only one
all, but
object left in the group,
it's more
it'll
just to benefit
automatically
her.
ungroup, and the connector will remain safely connected to the remaining object. Play around with the things you've learned in this tutorial and have fun making a character. When you're happy, select the star podium from the tutorial collection and stamp it down in the outline that we've put in the scene for you. Then head back into play mode, jump onto the podium, and see what Connie thinks of your creation.
And you lurking next to me. Yeah, this might be theirs. Can't lie about that. I mean, I don't know if we'll be able to hold it. Or I'll try to throw my ult on there. I'm just gonna try to keep the payload from moving for a bit. It's pretty bars. Oh, yeah. Me? Oh, I already have a good Doomfist skin. Come on. Yeah, I know. I know you can hear me. You can do whatever. Let's go play Classic. Who cares? As far as snipers and FPS games, I think she's pretty easy. Because, like, it's easy to get positioning, and it's easy to cover your flank. Just the difficulty is, like, aiming. Oh my god, don't let the Satan in person get me. Hey, you wanna fucking do something, Sombra? That's what I thought! Could, could we maybe kill the flyer? That'd be pretty pog. Hey, Diva, you wanna fucking do something? That's what I thought, bitch. Little cream, bitch. Yeah. Such, so surprising. And there's quick play Hammonds. Yeah, it's just a boo. Could we have somebody who exists on point? That'd be cool. Thank you, Zan. Mm-hmm. Wait, Ash, the fuck are you doing? Oh my AIDS. I just keep getting cheeked. I haven't really been able to, I guess they buffed Reinhardt's hammer, and like, I haven't really been able to whack anybody real good yet. Oh. Oh my god, could we kill like 2 people? Thank you. I'm gonna fucking rush this widow and fucking done here. Could my asshole just like exist for 5 minutes maybe? I'm getting booty assed by their entire team comp. Ah! Oh my god. How the hell have we held this? They should have the point. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I can pull this out. Not in the way that- Oh really? Okay. So, yeah. Were you making the game for that entire time that you were muted? Hmm. That's pretty poggers. Reinhardt's getting a buff from. Reinhardt's getting a 50 health buff and a 10 damage increase on his hammer. You sure about that? But to do all that, he has to get in close. No. Yeah, maybe. But like Overwatch is a team game, and they're trying to make sure every hero's potential can be maximized with their team. That's not the case for a lot of heroes, but you know. Give his penis jiggle physics, please. Look at fucking this! Bro, his eyes and top hat are simply vibing. Can you? Can you do jiggle physics and make the penis jiggly, please? Yes! No, just make a game where you play as a penis, please. Yeah. I like Penis Simulator. No. Bro, have you seen the game Genital Jousting? Oh, it's like penises and balls, but they have butts on the back, and you gotta stick your dick in another person's
Okay,
butt.
let's add some more
And if you
accessories
don't, you
before our
lose.
Pocket's stage debut.
It's kinda poggers. What? I'm like, I was gonna go, like, practice my aerials on Rocket League like a little sweat, but I don't have to. I am. What? I'll look. I'll look. Oh. Put it on the radio. What? That's a setting? Why does he have wings? And give his dick a little mustache too. I'm on Sprocket League, but you know, don't have to be. I'm kind of ass, but sure, if you wanna. Me and I just played Overwatch, and it wasn't ass. Because, you know, there wasn't a Bastion, or... There was even a Mei one time, but we don't. One still loves you. The funniest shit, Aiden. Bro, he's just vibing, alright? Why is it a square? Yeah, I've been meaning to ask that. His armor? When he be getting in beef? Jesus Christ. All this training just shows how ass I am at Rocket League. Oh, I'm in training. You invite me, asshat. I want to finish this training. I want to, like, get the 100% baby on this training first. That might take a bit, though. Because, as you know, I'm kind of a Rocket League autist. No. Spoiler, please. We both know I'm not. I don't think I could be. Yeah, I would like to be. With the girth he has, man, he could be my son already. That thing is fucking girthy as shit, though. Radio. All we hear is Radio Gaga. Who's my little Potter's boy? Yes, you are my little Pog champ. Come here. What's it? You like the fucking Cheetos popcorn commercials for a bedtime story? Cheetos popcorn even any good? I gotta go to bed
Open
soon.
the assembly menu and select Search,
Oh
the
my
button with
fucking
the magnifying
cringe.
glass, to search for an element.
Okay, if
Usually, you'd be
it'll
in the
make you not
Dreamweaver
play
here,
Fortnite,
but for
I'll go
this
play Rocket
tutorial,
League with you.
I've kept things
Like, I'll end
simple
the training
and
early.
curated a collection of elements for you to use.
Will that make you not...
Scope in with in its
Okay.
that groups can and nobody see.
Oh my god, why are you guys so fucking insistent on playing Fortnite?
When you're happy, select the star podium from the tutorial collection
Yeah, I'm
and
loading
stamp it
back into
down
the
in the
menu.
outline that
Just
we've put
call
in
me
the scene
Tickle
for you.
Titties.
Then
I
head
can't...
back into play mode, jump onto the podium,
I can't
and see
connect
what
to the
Connie thinks
servers.
of your creation.
Maybe they're down. Yeah, I straight up can't see my friends list or create a party. What game are you trying to make? uh... Your pretty ass had it. We? I guess the servers are down. Yeah. It started up again. Yeah, I will too. Yes! The penis is like, hello there! I love how the penis is the axis he spins on. Appear online, little bitch. Will it appear online? You wanna join, little boy? done like 3 or 4 Queen songs so far. I can only play like 1 game. I gotta go to bed.
There was once a mother and a daughter that fell on hard times and lived a life of pure misery. One day a demon appeared and told them that he could take away all of their suffering if they helped him.
Oh, we're doing things. View song. Oh my god. You're a Fortnite kid, Willard. Yes, you are. Willard, do you know what an addicted person says? I don't have an addiction. I can stop at any time. Willard.
Oh dear. It looks like Cuthbert is really stuck
But
this
will
time.
you?
In previous tutorials, you've edited the scene to help Connie reach Cuthbert. But this time, you'll be editing Connie
Prairie
herself, supercharging her with some new abilities to get
No, I
past the
just like
obstacles
forgot
in the
what it
scene.
was for a bit.
Bear in mind that this is a complex tutorial in which it's easy to make a mistake.
Ryan, you should put your
If you
shield
do,
down. Let the boy
remember to use the
recharge.
left
Let him get
directional
some of
button
his
to
semen
undo.
back.
Now go into play mode and see how far you can get. Possess Connie with R2 and press the X button to jump. Oops, she can't even get over the first obstacle. So let's start by souping up her jump height. Switch back to edit mode and we'll get started. To change Connie's jump height, well, that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, Connie's new jumping skills aren't going to be much use on the next obstacle. And don't even think about making her jump over the top, because that force field will zap her in a second.
He couldn't hit me. I can get him around the corner.
Let's give Connie the power to crouch. I bet she's always dreamed of it. If you're still in play mode, switch back to edit mode now. Rewind time with L3 to
don't
put
take
Connie
it
back
out
at
on
the start.
yourself.
To give her a crouch, we need to scope into her. Puppets are made up of sculptures, connectors, and gadgets that are grouped together.
Georgia.
Hover over Connie, press and hold L1, then press X to scope in. On Connie's back, there's a microchip gadget. It's called Connie's brain, and it contains all her logic and animations. Let's take a look inside. Hold L1 and press X over it to scope in and open the microchip canvas. There's quite a lot going on in here. The gadget I want you to look at is this one in the bottom right corner with the diamond icon. This is a keyframe gadget. If you've played through the Keyframes and Timelines tutorial, you'll already know all about these. Keyframes record changes to things in the scene. They store those changes in a gadget, which can be triggered using logic. This keyframe contains a crouching pose for Connie. Select the keyframe with X and you'll see a preview of how it looks. Those dashed lines over Connie show that she's being changed by the keyframe. Press circle to deselect the keyframe and she goes back to normal. To be able to activate the crouch keyframe, we need to connect it to Connie's controller sensor. Then you'll be able to make her crouch with a controller button. In the next step, I'll show you how to do exactly that. To activate the crouch, we're going to connect it to Connie's controller sensor. Scope into the microchip to open it up again. The controller sensor is the large gadget on Connie's microchip. It has a controller icon on it. Open up its tweak menu with L1 and square. Now you have a microchip and a tweak menu open, you may need to arrange. Stay to the left. This is because they generate signals, and signals flow through gadgets from left to right in Dreams. You can also save the 3D space position of tweak menus and microchips, or pin them to the screen, using the buttons that appear at the top when hovering over the canvas. This will help you keep them tidy while you're editing Logic, which is very important as it's easy to make mistakes. Now, let's take a closer look at that controller sensor. Ah, look, controller buttons. Just what we need. All playable characters contain a controller sensor gadget like this one. But the gadget can also be used for any situation where you want to detect button presses. To assign our keyframe to a button, we just need to wire it to the controller sensor. We won't use a circle button as aimed to a button. This will help you keep them tidy while you're editing Logic, which is very important as it's easy to make mistakes. Now, let's take a closer look at that controller sensor. Ah, look, controller buttons. Just what we need. All playable characters contain a controller sensor gadget like this one. But the gadget can also be used for any situation where you want to detect button presses. To assign our keyframe to a button, we just need to wire it to the controller sensor. We won't use a circle button as that depossesses Connie, and X makes her jump. So how about the square button to crouch? Make sure you can see the keyframe on the microchip. Move the tweak menu with R2 if you need to. If you hover over the square button in the controller sensor menu, you'll see ports appear on either side of it. They're just like the ports you see on gadgets. Ports on the left are inputs, and ports on the right are outputs. Now, you need to be very precise for the next part, as it's easy to make a mistake. Carefully hover your imp over the output port of the square button, and press X to create a wire. Stretch that wire over to the keyframe, and connect it to the power port on the bottom of the gadget with X. If at any time you make a mistake, just undo it using the left directional button. Once your crouch move is all wired up, close the controller sensor tweak menu. Hover over it, hold L1, then press circle to close. Now try out Connie's new crouch in play mode. See if she can make it under the second obstacle. When you're ready to continue, go back to edit mode. Rewind time with L3 and start the next step. Right, we're on to the final obstacle. There's no way around it, but it looks destructible. So we're going to make a slam attack for Connie so that she can smash through it. We'll start by recording a pose for the slam. We can do this using a keyframe. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip if it isn't already open. If you've played my Keyframes and Timelines tutorial, you'll have a bit of a head start on this next part. Go to the Assembly menu and open the Animate menu. We can do this using a keyframe. Scope back into Connie and open up her microchip if it isn't already open. If you've played my Keyframes and Timelines tutorial, you'll have a bit of a head start on this next part. Go to the Assembly menu and open the Animate menu. Select the keyframe with X. You'll now have a keyframe gadget on your imp. Stamp it somewhere in the scene with R2 or X. The keyframe records changes you make to objects and settings in the scene. It starts recording as soon as you stamp it. You can tell it's recording because your imp will change shape and colour. Now that we're recording, grab Connie's upper body with R2 and drag it gently down to the floor. Because we're scoped into her, we can move her body parts individually to create a pose. If we weren't scoped in, we'd move Connie's whole body. Notice that her knees automatically bend. Make sure her cone is all the way down to the floor so that you can't see her legs. Keyframes can record changes to anything, even tweak menu settings. So, just for visual flair, let's also make her glow. Hover over Connie's cone, hold L1 and press square to open its tweak menu. Because we're scoped in, this opens the tweak menu for the sculpture itself, rather than the puppet. All the settings on this page change the way Connie's cone looks. Look for the glow slider on the first page. Its icon is a sun. Raise the glow up to about 40%. Once you've set the glow, select Stop Recording in the Context menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close the Tweak menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close to store the %. Once you've set the glow, select Stop Recording in the Context menu to store the changes to the keyframe. You can close the Tweak menu now too. Just hover over it, hold L1 and press Circle. Select the keyframe gadget with X to preview what's been recorded. Looks good. Deselect the keyframe by pressing Circle. In the next step, we'll continue building Connie's slam attack. The next step is to place our new Connie animation into a timeline. Using a timeline will let us time the animations and effects of the slam attack. Go to the Assembly menu and back to the Animate menu. Select the timeline with X. Hover over Connie's microchip and stamp a timeline above the crouch keyframe. Now let's open the timeline canvas with L1 and X. The slam attack should be a really quick animation. So adjust the canvas so it's only 1 second long. Any longer and it won't feel snappy enough. Hover over the edge of the timeline canvas so that a white line appears along it. You'll also see a white double-ended arrow appear next to the edge by your imp. When you see this, grab the edge of the canvas with X. Move your imp to shorten the timeline to 1 second. Make sure you don't select the trim button by mistake. It's a square button by the numbers at the top of the timeline. It has a black arrow on it. The timeline duration is now correct, but the space is... Don't select the trim button by mistake. It's a square button by the numbers at the top of the timeline. It has a black arrow on it. The timeline duration is now correct, but the space is very small. So let's zoom in a bit. Hover your imp over the timeline canvas, hold L1 and press the right directional button to zoom in. This will keep the timeline duration to 1 second long, but stretch the... Hover your imp over the timeline canvas, hold L1 and press the right directional button to zoom in. This will keep the timeline duration to 1 second long, but stretch the space so that you can fit more detail into it. If you need to zoom out, just hold L1 and press the left directional button. Now let's put our Slam Attack keyframe onto the timeline. Grab the keyframe with R2 and place it at the start of the timeline canvas. Make sure you've got the Slam keyframe and not the crouch one. The gadget automatically snaps to the surface of the canvas. The keyframe is only a fraction of a second long at the moment, but we need it to fill the length of the timeline. So hover over the keyframe and hold the up directional button to scale it. Make it the same length as the timeline. Now we want to wire the timeline up to a button press, just like we did with the crouch. Move the timeline canvas so that you can see the controller sensor and the timeline gadget. Open the controller sensor tweak menu with L1 and square. I'm going to use L1 as the Slam Attack button. Hover over the output port of the L1 button and press X to create a wire. Stretch the wire down to the timeline gadget and connect it to the power port on the bottom. You can now use the L1 button to perform Connie's Slam Attack. Give it a try in play mode. At the moment, it's just an animation, so it's not going to do anything to the blocks. But in the next step, I'll show you how to add some force to it. When you're ready to continue, return to edit mode, rewind time, and start the next step. The Slam Attack animation is all set up, but it's not doing much besides looking cool. So we need to add a gadget to our timeline that will emit a force when Connie slams the ground. The gadget we're going to use for this is the Force Applier. Go to the Assembly menu and open the Gadgets menu. Find the Move as an Output menu and open it with X. The icon for the Force Applier looks like a gust of wind. Select it with X to equip it to your imp. I hope you've still got the timeline open. If not, open it with L1 and X. Stamp the Force Applier onto the timeline canvas below the keyframe. Press circle to unequip the Force Applier from your imp. The force applier isn't very strong by default, so we'll need to tweak it. To open its tweak menu, hover over the gadget, hold L1 and press square. At the top of the tweak menu is the force strength slider. Its icon is a beefy arm. Drag it all the way up to 100% using your imp. That will ensure the force emitted will overcome the gravity in the scene and the friction between the blocks. Next, increase the force speed to 10 meters per second. That will give the slam attack some punch. If you take a look at Connie, you'll see a green zone around her. Anything in this zone will be affected by the force applier. At the moment, the zone isn't much bigger than Connie. Hover your imp over the zone and arrow gizmos will appear. Grab them with R2 and move your imp to change the size of the zone. Or you can scale the zone more precisely in the force applier tweak menu. Go to the tab called Zone Size. Grab the zone size slider with X and set it to about 3.5 meters. Okay, let's test out Connie's new powers. Switch over to play mode. Possess Connie and give her new slam attack a try. Oops! Looks like it's more power than Connie can handle. The force applier is pushing her off the platform. Switch back to edit mode and rewind time. In the final step, I'll show you how to tweak the force applier so that it only affects the objects we want it to. To prevent the force applier from pushing Connie off the platforms, we're going to use labels. Labels can be given to any object in the scene, and gadgets like the force applier can detect them. In the force applier tweak menu, go to the Labels tab. By default, it will detect all labels. There are labels for all sorts of objects: foes, scenery, targets. The friend label is used for playable characters like Connie or friendly characters like Cuthbert. So if we deselect it, the force applier will no longer affect Connie. Hover over the friend button and press X to deselect it. It's the button with the heart icon. Now Connie should be able to blast through the blocks without firing herself off into space. Use her new skills to pass all the obstacles. When you've successfully rescued Cuthbert, go through the door to finish this tutorial.
I need to go after this. Poggers, though. What video? What video, homeboy? Oh. I'm in overtime, Dad. Let me just finish this. What? Okay, yeah. See you guys. I gotta go to bed. Bye.